There is a moment, just before a note is played, where everything goes quiet. Not the kind of silence you hear in an empty room, but the kind that carries weight, memory, pain. And if you listen closely, you can almost feel it breathing. For decades, that silence followed one man everywhere he went. Across stages, across continents, across a lifetime of applause. And at 78, it finally caught up with him. Because what happened to Carlos Santana wasn't just a moment. It was the breaking point of a story the world never fully saw. And once you hear it, you won't hear his music the same way again. Because behind the sound, there was always something else. Something waiting. Something he spent a lifetime trying not to face. And here's the part no one tells you. Legends don't break in public. They don't fall under bright lights. In front of thousands of people, with cameras rolling and hearts watching. But he did. And when he did, it wasn't just his body that collapsed. It was the silence finally demanding to be heard. Have you ever wondered what happens when someone gives everything to the world, but nothing to themselves? Before the fame, before the sold-out arenas, before the name that would echo through generations, there was a boy, a quiet boy, growing up in a place where survival mattered more than dreams. Dust in the air, hunger in the background, a father who came and went, chasing music, a mother who stayed, holding everything together without ever asking for recognition. And in between all of that, there was silence. Not peaceful silence, the heavy kind, the kind that makes a child grow up faster than they should. Music came early. First, the violin, a path chosen for him, but it never felt right. Like wearing someone else's identity. Then came the guitar, and something changed. Not slowly, not gently. Instantly. It wasn't just an instrument. It was a voice. For the first time, he could say things he didn't have words for. Pain, confusion, fear, all of it, poured into 6 strings. But there was something else too. Something darker. Something he wouldn't speak about. For decades. Because in a place that was supposed to shape him, something broke him instead. A moment. A violation. A wound that didn't bleed on the outside, but never stopped bleeding within. And just like that, the silence grew louder. So he ran. Not away from it, but through music, across borders, into new cities, into unfamiliar worlds, until one day, he found himself standing in a place where everything changed. The energy, the chaos, the rebellion. It was the late 1960s, and the world was shifting. And in the middle of that storm, stood a young man with a guitar, ready to be heard. What happened next wasn't luck. It was ignition. Woodstock. A stage, a crowd, a moment that would define history. And when Carlos Santana stepped forward, something electric happened. The music didn't just play. It exploded. Raw, emotional, almost uncontrollable. People didn't just listen, they felt it. Because what they were hearing wasn't just skill. It was everything he had been carrying. Every note was a piece of that silence breaking apart. And just like that, he wasn't invisible anymore. He was a legend. Albums climbed, charts. Awards followed. The world finally saw him. But here's the truth. Success doesn't silence pain. It amplifies it. Behind the fame, the tours, the endless applause, the silence was still there. Waiting. He searched for answers. In spirituality, in discipline, in something bigger than himself. Meditation, devotion, a new identity. But ask yourself this: was he finding peace? Or just building a more beautiful place to hide? Because while the world saw a man evolving, those closest to him saw something else. Distance. A marriage slowly fading. Family feeling the absence of someone who was physically there, but emotionally somewhere else. Have you ever been in a room with someone and still felt alone? That was his life. The music continued. The legend grew. But inside, the silence was getting heavier. Years passed. Decades. And then, something unexpected happened. A comeback. An explosion of success no one saw coming. Supernatural. The world rediscovered him. Like he was brand new. Awards poured in. Songs dominated charts. A second peak. Even bigger than the first. But here's the part that doesn't make headlines. At the height of it all, he felt more empty than ever, because no amount of applause can heal something you refuse to face. And then, life did what it always does. It forced the truth forward. A marriage ended. Quietly. Painfully. Not with drama, but with distance that could no longer be ignored. And still, he kept going. Stage after stage. City after city. Giving everything. Until there was nothing left to give. And then came the moment. July 5th, 2022. Lights were bright. The crowd was alive. Music was about to begin. And then he fell. Not slowly, not dramatically. Just collapsed. Right there. In front of everyone. For a second, nobody understood. Then panic. Then silence. The kind of silence that doesn't just sit in the air. It grips it. He had pushed too far. Too long. Forgotten to eat. Forgotten to rest. Forgotten himself. At 74. Still trying to give the world everything. But this wasn't just physical. That moment, on that stage, was years of unspoken weight, finally breaking through, and lying there, unable to move, unable to perform. He faced something he had avoided his entire life. The silence. And this time, there was no guitar to drown it out. No crowd to hide behind. Just him. And everything he had been running from. And then, something shifted. Not overnight. Not perfectly, but honestly. For the first time, he stopped. Really stopped. And in that stillness, something opened. That locked room inside him. The one he had avoided for decades. Finally opened. And what came out changed everything. At 75, Carlos Santana spoke publicly about the abuse he had carried since childhood. No metaphors. No hiding. Just truth. I was a child. It wasn't my fault. Think about that. A man who spent over half a century performing for the world finally spoke for himself. That silence was never strength. It was survival. And letting it go. That was the real courage. From that moment on, everything changed. Not the fame, not the legacy, but the man. He slowed down. He listened. He allowed himself to be human. Not a legend, not a symbol, just a person. Healing. And maybe for the first time in his life, he wasn't playing music to escape the silence. He was playing in peace with it. Because here's the truth this story leaves you with. We all have a locked room. Something we avoid. Something we bury. Something we tell ourselves we'll deal with later. But later has a way of becoming never. Until something breaks. So let me ask you. What is the silence in your life trying to say? Because if a man who spent 60 years running from it can finally turn around and face it, so can you, and maybe. That's where your freedom begins. If this story moves something inside you, if you felt even a piece of your own life in it, don't ignore that feeling, because sometimes the most important stories are the ones that remind us to finally listen.